Hello and welcome. I'm Miles O'Brien. It appears it won't be too long before the Space Shuttle Atlantis and the Space Station Mir have their close encounter of the orbital kind. The historic docking mission is widely seen as an important milestone on the road toward a new era of cooperation in space. But before that can happen, some complicated machinery has to work and some fancy flying has to go down without a hitch.
Closer together. We are bringing our nations closer together. The next time we approach, we will shake your hand, and together we will lead our world into the next millennium.
The orbiting minuet of Mir and Shuttle puts NASA's best stick and thruster jockeys in the hot seat, where, true to Chuck Yeager form, they remain cool as a cucumber. Atlantis Commander Hoot Gibson has logged more than 200 hours docking with the Russian space station in a NASA simulator. Using laser rangefinders and visual targets as a guide, he must creep down an imaginary funnel, which offers only a 3-inch margin for error in the final 3 feet before capture.
It is a very intensive thing, and it's a process that we've got to do right, or we can physically damage the Mir either by hitting it with our thrusters or by hitting it too hard, hitting it too fast. So we have got to fly it very precisely. I think we're up to it.
Gibson is being humble. NASA says he hasn't missed a single approach in training, excluding those occasions when the simulator conjured up a major malfunction in the docking hardware. This mission to Mir will be as much a test of piloting metal as it will be of finely engineered metal. What are we looking at, first of all, here? What is this called? What is the...
Okay, it's called the Androgynous Peripheral Docking Assembly.
Built by the Russians under contract from U.S. shuttle builder Rockwell, the docking mechanism would make a Swiss watchmaker proud. More than 200 gears linked to a network of pulleys, cables, and shock absorbers make it tick. Rockwell engineer Bruce Brandt let us check under the hood, so to speak.
That's the guide ring here.
This is what we call the guide ring.
Prior to docking, the 3-pedaled guide ring extends outward by 11 inches. A set of capture latches on each pedal snaps the ring snugly to the identical docking ring on the Mir. The shock absorbers stop the vehicles from swaying. Once the huge craft are properly aligned, the ring will automatically lock, then slowly retract. When the rings are seated, 12 interlocking hooks will pull the docking devices together, creating an airtight seal.
The crewman then would open up a pressure equalization valve from inside our airlock into orbiter, which pressurizes this entire volume. And at that time, we're going to open the hatch and be able to go through into the Mir station.
In theory, undocking is much simpler. The hooks are released and springs push the vehicles gently apart. If the hooks get stuck, exploding bolts should save the day.
Not that we want to scare anybody, but this system has never been proven out, never with a vehicle as large as this shuttle.
So Rockwell engineers have run the docking system through thousands of rigorous computer simulations. They are satisfied it will rise to the occasion.
There is a lot of margin for error. The pilots can actually maneuver the vehicle to much better misalignments than what the system can handle.
The Russians created this docking system to be used on their version of the space shuttle, which flew only one unmanned mission. But the design is a direct outgrowth of the device used to link the Apollo and Soyuz spacecraft in 1975.
Glad to see you. Here.
In the end, that meeting of Russian and American spacecraft was more political achievement than technical triumph. The Cold War adversaries agreed to follow certain design guidelines, but then built and flew their own hardware. The second docking is a different story.
This is the complement of avionics boxes, we call them.
This time around, a U.S. spacecraft is laced with Russian-made equipment. Making all the electronics, connectors, and wiring mesh with space shuttle systems has been a huge engineering challenge.
Just to controlling this configuration with this many wires and the specification required for that was a tremendous job in itself, just to make sure that everything did fit up properly.
Making sure it all fits. That's the goal of this mission in more ways than one. When it's over, these former space rivals should know a lot more about how well their partnership fits. If the latches on that docking mechanism get stuck and the exploding bolts don't do the job, 2 astronauts are ready to take a walk in space, wrenches in hand, to remove the 96 bolts that hold the docking ring onto the airlock. Even without a spacewalk, NASA knows this is a high-profile, high-interest space shuttle mission. So the agency has created a special place on the World Wide Web where net surfers can learn a lot about STS-71, as well as download still and moving pictures. We'll have the address for you a little later in the show, so stay tuned and be ready to jot it down. A big victory for free